made it to Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority podcast training. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 343 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your co-host Luke Millett, and here's your host Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Billy DeMoss, and if you want to hear about world change for the better, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am really just off the charts excited today because our productions are so heavy and awesome. We got great guests on. Today we got Billy DeMoss coming in from OC, Orange County, California, out there. Fighting the good fight for everybody that needs good information. We're going to ask him a lot of detailed questions on what's happening out there in California and with CalJam. I know you guys are probably curious about what's happening with CalJam. And before we get rumbling, I just want to let people know what we do and why we do it. We do protect free speech in chiropractic. That's a big job. And we have worked tirelessly to be able to uphold that. And we do protect the sacred trust. That's something that's very important to the chiropractic profession. If you guys are watching this, you don't know what that is, go ahead and do a search for that and find out what that is and what it means. And we do support subluxation-based chiropractors, those that check, correct, and detect vertebral subluxation. And we support the lexicon of innate intelligence and universal intelligence. So with that being said, we got Billy D. Welcome to the show, man.
Peace, everybody. Peace and love and God. So one of the other things I forgot to mention through all this, I had a little bit of a breakdown because I was trying to carry this around all myself, and it was by the power of God that really I relinquished that responsibility of trying to change the world and take that weight off my back and got, my brothers are both great Christians, and finally it took me a long time, but I've come towards God, and I'm reading the Bible every day and going to church, and that's been a huge, huge, huge benefit in my life. And I really attribute the fact that I still have some sanity left to the fact that I found Jesus, and I don't want to be like overly zealously religious, but I'm just saying it's really something that's had a huge impact in my life. And because people see my posts, and I get a lot of positive comments, but I also get negative ones, because you always do. Like, I believe in the invisible man now. Well, it's been helping me, and it's working. And I feel that through what we're doing with chiropractic and through what we're doing with our events, that this is another way for us to bring more people towards Christ, Jesus, and Christianity, and saving souls and, life ever after. So there we go.
Maybe you can take a little bit of a deeper dive into that. Explain to us what kind of impact are you making now, and how maybe has it changed in the last year or two? Because you've always been making an impact, but I'm
right.
Sure
but the biggest thing is that I looked at CalJam as something that was just a chiropractic event, and which was the biggest mistake from the beginning. And again, it is a chiropractic event, and but I knew the content was something that, like, one of my friends came one year, and he's one of my best surfing buddies. We surf on. He came to the event, and I saw him crying over in the corner, and he was just literally sobbing with, "I can't believe I haven't been to this before. I never realized what you were doing to," because chiropractic's part of one of the components of what we're doing here. But I want people. I remember when I used to talk about vaccines early on in Facebook, everybody, well, that's not a chiropractic topic. But the thing is, it's not it's a humanitarian topic. And and I told people, and I've said this from the stage, right after 9/11 happened, I was telling people that was an inside job, and people would come up to me and think I was out of my mind. And then I would talk about, here, this is what's going to unravel. And everything that I talked about happened. And that's where we're at right now. And I remember I said this from the stage, you're going to be waiting till it's 11:59 and 59 seconds with the gun to your head before you start to realize where we're at. And again, you might be in Idaho, you might be in Florida, you might be in Texas, but when California goes, it's going to be a slow progression. Don't think that these guys that run the planet don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they know where this is all headed. So, and we can get into that in a little bit further down the program. So I started doing Dead Chiropractic Society meetings in my office, and I was having more of the general public because I was inviting my patients, and they would all show up and they would love, all the speakers that we would have here, and chiropractic speakers. And then I started thinking, well, let's see if we could open this up. And then John Bergman and I did an event at a venue called Old World, and we had 300 people show up. A lot of them were general public. And then I had Judy Mickovich show up, and then we had 500 people. And then we had Sherry Tenpenny show up, and then we got up to 700 and 800 with Robert Kennedy and Del Bigtree. And we had a lesser show up for Ben Tapper and Zach. But it's because he's not as big as, obviously, they're not as big as Robert Kennedy. But then I started realizing, this is a global issue, and this is something that everybody needs to. And my vision was always to fill Anaheim Stadium, and people still, I know you laugh, but the thing is, but you put that into the cosmos, God's going to make it happen for you. And the way we do that is by collectively bringing people together for a common theme to really protect the future. I mean, I'm 63, bro. I can't even explain how beautifully God blessed me over my life to experience what I've experienced with traveling, surfing, and snowboarding, and traveling, speaking, and being involved in chiropractic. And I just want that for future generations. I don't want them to living on a planet that's being oppressed. And I mean, where we're going, if you read 2030, Agenda 2030, is that basically everything that's going on right now with geoengineering, which is the aerial spraying of chemtrails, basically, which people still probably think I'm nuts about, and all the forced injections and all that is about just really creating a preponderance of metal in your brain, which is going to lead to artificial intelligence, AI, where everything's going to be, your brain's basically going to be under their control. I mean, Del Bigtree spoke about this at the event. This is reality, folks. And if that sounds like a world that you want to live in literally 8 years, that's where we got to go. And then one of my patients sent me a paper yesterday from the National Library of Medicine. I don't know when this was published. I know it's recent, but it talks about evidence for the connection between coronavirus disease and exposure to radio frequency radiation from wireless communications, i.e. your cell phone, and whatever that letter is, which is the one that always gets me in trouble. And then what it says right here, by crossing boundaries between the disciplines of biophysics and pathophysiology, the present evidence that WCI may cause morphologic changes in erythrocytes, including echinocyte and rouleau formation, that can contribute to hypercoagulation, which we're seeing, impair microcirculation and reduce erythrocyte and hemoglobin levels, exacerbating hypoxia, which we're seeing, amplify immune system dysfunction, including immune suppression, autoimmunity, and hyperinflation, which we're seeing, increase cellular oxidative stress and the production of the free radicals, resulting in vascular injury and organ damage, increase intracellular calcium, essential for viral entry, replication, released, in addition to promoting pro-inflammatory pathways, worsen heart arrhythmias and cardiac disorders, which we're seeing globally from something as simple as your cell phone. And that's why I've never owned one, because I knew this was all part of the whole agenda and loading you up with nanoparticulate metals, graphene oxide, all these different products, which are really, it's a depopulation agenda is what it is. I mean, that's what I personally feel that is going on here. And I've been saying that from the stage from the very beginning too. And people go, why would they want to depopulate the planet? I go, why wouldn't they? They want to own the planet to themselves. And their goal is to get it down to 500 million. And that's probably where it's headed, because if you get enough people vaccinated, I didn't say the word. you get enough people injected, then you're going to be able to accomplish that goal, because people that are higher with their metal contents from more and more of the set injections, then the more susceptibility they are to the issues that we just described there with hypercoagulation, heart arrhythmias, immune deficiency, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Well, you said quite a bit there, and I want to circle back to a couple things.
okay.
You're doing some events.
Yeah.
You have one coming up March 31st with Devin Vrana, David Wolf, and your pastor Sparks. And I kind of want to give you a chance to speak about that and promo that a bit, just to get some people thinking about coming out and attending and supporting what you're doing on this next one.
Well, let's talk about the one we have coming up next week. So Cordy and Simone Gold and I will be speaking at an event, which was a fundraiser for Cordy's campaign, which we all know he's running for Senate, which I feel chiropractors should get behind him, because, I mean, obviously, I think, and I don't think this, because I saw a kid that on the beach the other day that he came into me and he wanted to become a physical therapist. And I turned him into a chiropractor. He went to Cal Jam. I sent him to Life University, and he's just graduated, and he's now working in Encinitas. And I just I don't know what kind of future chiropractic has. Look at what's going on in Canada right now, and then look what's happening probably globally in a lot of countries. Don't think that they're not going to get rid of chiropractic and your freedom of speech and what you communicate to your patients or people, as I call my practice. So it's important that we represent, and again, I personally feel that the voting system's rigged as well. I mean, that's a whole nother can of worms, but I just get behind people and support people from our profession that really want to get into government and politics to really better the future for. And he's got 2 kids as well, so it's also important. So we've got that event next week. If you can't be there, you could just go to. Can we put the link down below later? And there's a link that they could go to and purchase tickets, and they could donate it to people that can't afford it. It's $97 because the event's smaller. It's a smaller venue than the old world, which we can hold 1,000 or even more than 1,000, really. So it only holds 300. So I needed to raise enough money so it would be viable for Simone to do it, Simone Gold, and but we've had very lackluster attendance to this one. I think I'm almost embarrassed to say the numbers that we've got going on for it. So there, ask about his practice.
I'm asking Luke to ask you about what's going on with how practice has been since you had a little break from Cal Jam.
Oh, dude, singleness of purpose, dude. It's like last year we had our biggest year ever. But I've been feeling this sting lately because like I've said, it's like the environment here in California is like, they came out yesterday and said that all employees and independent contractors will be required to get back. That's a bill they're being proposing right now. Senator Pan is back at it again. It's just like they don't stop. So I'm losing a lot of my families to Idaho, Florida, Texas. So that's what's happening. Everybody's going to leave California. Not only that, the taxes and the cost of living have just gone through the friggin' roof. A gallon of gas here is now like $5.29 for Supreme, which I put in my car. And I don't know what it is where you guys are at, but literally they're pushing everyone out of the state. So our politics are going to go to these conservative states. So you got to basically an immigration of people from California to states to pollute those states. And as California falls, that's the first domino. These guys know what they're doing. But my practice has been amazing. And that's been really a sanctity of sanity to me, because we come here in this little microcosm. We haven't worn masks. They all know the truth. That we've got the COVID is a scam shirts out there on the front desk. We've got these shirts. It's all just an IQ test with our fearless leader on the front. We're very open. I even have a sign at the front. There's no cell phones allowed in the office due to the radio frequencies are disruptive to healing. Out of respect to the doctors and our patients, please leave your cell phone in the car, which, they get it. So that's just, it's like you don't smoke in a doctor's office. You're not going to bring your cell phone, which I feel is actually worse than smoking. So the practice has been amazing. It's been not only financially amazing, it's been it's like a love thing here. There's a love energy in here that not only I feel and I contribute to, but also that I get back from my patients. And we're all in this together, and that's the big movement.
Well, we all know that your favorite thing to do is to surf. Have you found time to do more of that lately, or
Oh
have
my
you
God,
been
that's been
doing less of it?
Oh, I've surfed way more because if I'm not on the road every weekend speaking at an event, I'm here actually doing what I love. So yeah, the break has been good. Of course, we missed Cal Jam, but the thing is, I don't want to plan a Cal Jam and do the whole production thing. Like I said, it's not like just a bunch of speakers coming and, you know, it's, as you've seen, it's a huge production. And there was never really a lot of, like, everybody looks at the constant amount of people. It cost me almost $500,000 to put that show on with production and the venue. And you guys know, you've been in events. It's not cheap. And there's not a lot of, my practice is way more profitable than Cal Jam ever was. So I didn't do it for the money. I did it to change the world. That's what the goal was, you know. But
Well,
surfing's been amazing.
I know you have a logo on your hat, and I have one here on the shirt. And you explained that to me before we got going. It's the logo of World Change for the Better.
Yeah,
Explain
world.
that.
There's a
I never,
globe, and there's.
I never knew
I
what that
mean,
was.
you didn't know that?
No, I just
Well,
wore it
I
because
took
it's your
ACDC.
logo.
Yeah, it's my logo, but there's a globe, the world, and then the lightning bolt for change. You know, I mean,
Nice.
that's what it's always represented to me. And I don't know if people already knew that, but I just wanted people to understand the issues that plague this planet, that plague our future, and everything that. And at the pinnacle of it, I want chiropractic people to understand chiropractic. That I see. I like through all this stress that I've been going through. I literally get adjusted every day. You know, but I want to function at that level. I don't want to function at a lower level. So.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority podcast training. Let's hustle. And, you know, from our first episode, which was a few years ago, I've been a huge supporter of your movement, Cal Jam. And for us, it was never about the money either. It was about what can we do to add more value with you. And I've always been super impressed with what you've been able to accomplish. And, you know, since I first was at the first one I went to, I wouldn't go through life without it. So I appreciate what you do. And I appreciate that you've brought people together for a bigger cause. And whether it's 100 people or whether it's 5,000 people, the people there are the ones that matter, because those are the ones that are getting the influence, and those are the ones that are telling the story, and those are the ones that are showing up, which I absolutely love. What is next? Are you gonna have an in-person thing? Are you gonna pop it into a different state? Are you going to?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to a different state. I mean, I would look at Arizona, Phoenix, where it'd be easy for people to fly into, or do it mid-country. Because I get a lot of complaints from people it's too far for them to travel, and I think, like, just remember in the old days, people used to cross the United States in stagecoaches, and you're complaining about taking a 5-hour flight, you know, with internet and toilets, cocktails. And I get it. I don't like to travel anymore either, so it's just become such a nightmare. And I've really got a great spot I surf at, Upper Trestles, and that's my sanctity, man. I go down there and I just get in the ocean and paddle out, and I look back at the world and go, see, I'm going to go out and get refreshed. You know, it's just hang out with the pelicans and the dolphins and the sharks, and a lot of sharks down there lately. So, yeah.
So this is something that we usually like to ask our guests. How do you see chiropractic changing or evolving over the next 20 years?
I hate to say that I see it going more allopathic, more as a treatment, and more as a pain-based mode of care. It's the education process. That's why there's 3 schools that I recommend: LifeView, Life West, and Sherman. And then there's obviously schools in Europe. I mean, Barcelona. And then we got one open up in Scotland. Those are all good options. And I'm sure New Zealand's probably pretty good as well. I don't know if the license is transferable. CalJam in Amsterdam. That sounds like a great idea. Probably get in trouble on that one. Hey, Travis.
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. That's great. I love it. And then people will say hamster jam or something.
I'd show up for it. Just saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, Texas.
So you're considering Texas or Arizona?
Yeah, those would probably be my two. I'm not going anywhere cold. I don't like cold. I like Arizona, and that's for me. I can't move. Like all my peeps are moving. This is my you've seen my office. This has been my home for 30 years, and thank God I own the place. I have no rent. It's just I could never uproot myself. But the reason I can't leave is because of the addiction. The addiction to surfing. And I mean, I can't just move to Florida and expect to get the waves that I get here. There's nowhere else to go. I mean, I can't go to Mexico because Mexico is heavily oppressed. Those people are more oppressed than we are here. Same thing with Costa Rica. All those are socialistic countries already. It's just harder. Everything is bigger in Texas. Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, it's got to go out of state because we have a Governor Newsom here that's just a mini Hitler, and I know it's all driven top down. I mean, again, you think that Joe Biden's your president. Joe Biden is just a freaking puppet, and the puppeteers are the people way above him that really. So you think you're voting for somebody that's supporting you. It's really you're supporting the higher agenda of what's coming down the pike. So back to your question, chiropractic is probably going to be less subluxation based, not by my choice. I'm giving you my prediction just because of the state of the schools. Most of the schools are teaching not the true model of what I consider real chiropractic. I kind of work along the lines of do a little bit of biophysics, deed inheritance work, drop table work, and use CLA as far as measuring HRVs and thermography. I take digital X-rays, pre and post X-rays to see cervical change and alignment improvements. And a lot of it goes back to Gonstead and Fred Barge were a real big influence on X-ray markings for me and measuring pre and post improvements. And I don't see that being taught in school. I don't even think they're even being taught to take X-rays anymore. And I think the skill of adjusting, like if you've ever got adjusted by an old timer like Fred Barge, you realize that the techniques and when Fred Barge said this once, we did a small seminar once. He was in La Jolla teaching a scoliosis seminar, and 12 of us went. There were only 12 people there. I don't know why. That was me, John Babick, Fred DiDomenico, and a few other chiropractors that I knew. And he said the reason we don't get the miracles in chiropractic anymore is the techniques have become so wimpy. I mean, and I'm not denigrating any other techniques or anything. I'm just saying this is what he said, because when he adjusted you knew you got adjusted. It was as he called it, through the floor technique. And I think we've lost the art of adjusting to some degree in schools, because I don't think it's even the highest priority on that whole hierarchy of what's considered important in school anymore. I think more it's diagnosis, and basically that's where I think things are going. Hey, Victor, good to see you, bro.
Well, let's play a fun little game for a second.
Okay, I like fun games.
If you had the power to change chiropractic laws and the schools, and basically if you could change anything you wanted to about the profession, what would it be and why?
Here's a better question. Why don't we open a school and start a school that teaches real chiropractic? I mean, along the lines of the schools I've already mentioned but I know there's all these guidelines you got to fit in with all the regulations.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you could change the guidelines and the regulations, what would you do?
I would get back to roots. I would get back to philosophy. I mean, that's what chiropractic is. It's a philosophy. It's, as BJ said, it's more important to get the big idea than get adjusted. They got to understand the healing power of the body. They got to understand the innate connection between the nervous system and all the organs and glands. They got to understand the power of God flowing through them from above down, inside out. I mean, these are the concepts that people understand. A sperm cell and an egg cell can come together, and literally those two cells can create 75 trillion cells. That really, literally, the body is a miraculous entity from God. It's a miracle, and you just need to have faith in what God gave you and not rely on outside in types of treatments to treat stuff. And we'll get back to just doing what your body needs. Lead a innate lifestyle is basically what it is. Eat healthy, exercise, get proper rest, which is my biggest issues. My brain doesn't shut up. I've even quit drinking coffee except for today because I kind of have a melatonin hangover today. I get melatonin hangovers now. Yeah, get back to philosophy, get back to adjusting, get back to telling the story, get back to being more vocal. I mean, look at BJ used to drive around hearses and stuff with, back in the days, they were more radical. And again, there's all the censorship. Like I've said earlier, all my stuff's been literally pulled off the internet. We even lost the Cal Jam Network. They took it on my Vimeo page. YouTube took me down. My Facebook page was taken down. Instagram's been taken down 3 times. And I know it's just anything. Like, I posted the picture of this shirt on my one page and I was in jail for 30 days. It's just a cartoon is all it is. But it's basically says something on the mask that they don't want you to think or know or realize. But yeah, does that answer your question?
Kind of. I'll take that as an answer. But I have another one now. So having all this social media and things taken down, has that pushed your focus in different directions?
Of course. You just got to go to the streets, man. That's what I did. I mean, we get 800 people to show up at a venue and on a Wednesday night in Huntington Beach, maybe 5% are chiropractors and the rest are general public that are craving for this information. And we all get together in a gathering where we don't feel like we're on our own little island. To me, it's like, these are like mini Cal Jams but if you put them together, where you got that many people put together over the period of the year. We haven't done one. We do one in December. We didn't do one in January due to scheduling issues. And we're doing kind of this mini one for Cordy, but literally I've gone to the streets, and you can't censor my mouth when you're in the public, at least not yet. So I'm over social media, to be honest with you. I mean, you don't see me that much on Facebook anymore. People go, "You never like my posts." I go, I'm very rarely, if ever, on Facebook. I might post something one day if something comes to me, but it's just I've really gotten burned out on TV. I've never watched TV anyways. I can't even listen to the radio anymore. And social media is just this downward spiral of negativity. And again, there's always good posts on there. I get that stuff, but you get sucked into some of the other things. Like at the Super Bowl, nobody was wearing masks. I mean, why are all these dichotomies going on in the world where it's so blatantly obvious what's going on? And I don't understand what it is with, the IQ test. What is it that people can't see that's so blatantly obvious to you and I? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what can't you see? This is so vividly clear to me, and it's vividly clear to a lot of people. And that number is increasing. And that's why I feel like they're getting more desperate. So I'm wondering what's going to happen next. And it was just like I discussed in the paper, is they're going to crank up your cell phones and your cell towers, and then literally create all the issues that will look like COVID-19 when it's really just coming from EMF frequencies. So getting back on that tangent.
So Billy, we're coming up on the edge of our time. I know that. I'm very thankful to have you on with us. I've been supporting you since day one. I remember the first time I found you on YouTube. I friended you on Facebook as we were talking about the evil empire of social media, but I keep on sharing your stuff because I want to amplify your message. And I've been in support of what you've stood for and what you've said from the stage or said on podcasts with us or in person. And it's been great to get to know you. And I know that other people out there are curious how they can support you too. And at this point in our segment, we do like to get some assets from you to where we can send and drive some traffic to be on the lookout for, and to know how they can stay in touch with you, because I know social isn't your jam, but Cal is your jam.
Oh, just go to drbillydemoss.com or
Nice.
drbillyd.com, and you can put your email in there. I was doing weekly buzzes again. I mean, I've had to pull back, bro. I've had to kind of like, I started losing it, dude. I was just so driven to get this out that it was taking a toll on my own health, my emotional health, and mental health. So I've really kind of like just gotten into reading the Bible and pulling my head out of all the just quagmire of just chaos that's going on in the world. And maybe you guys don't experience what we experience in California, but it's a different feel. You go to LA, dude, it's like you're in a completely different country than where I live in Orange County. And Orange County's still bad enough, but you go to like I went to a concert, I went to a Wilco concert. It's hardcore, dude. It's like that's already a communistic city. It's you go there, and the minute you cross the Orange County LA border, the vibe changes. There's homeless people everywhere. There's graffiti everywhere. There's trash everywhere. The streets are in disrepair. Everybody is in fear. I'll go to Oaxaca Bay. I'll be there in a heartbeat. Yes. So it's just when you see what's going on literally in front of your eyes, it can be at times overwhelming, since I've been trying to get people to understand this for really over 3 decades, when I started really being outspoken about immunizations from the very beginning, from what I've learned philosophically from BJ and Dee Dee. So.
And well, we also know typically another site people can go to would be caljam.org. Is that
that's a good one too.
Is that still up? Can people go there?
Still up. Yeah, we keep that one mellow. We try to keep the Instagram mellow, but then we started getting a big following, and then I started popping off a little too much, and that got taken down.
Well, Billy, thank you for supporting Chiro Hustle. Thanks for being
Thank you for being
today,
you guys the backbone of the podcasts that are available to chiropractors out there. You guys are doing a great job. Hi, Michael, watching from Philly.
Yeah, Michael is one of our sponsors with Imaging Services, and supports chiropractic big time with his X-ray business. So let's perpetuate X-ray long term.
Yeah, of course. Everybody gets X-rayed here. I don't know how you can practice without it, but that's just my own opinion. Let me share a plug for him. The best investment I ever made in my practice was buying a digital X-ray machine. And I want to say that, you may not feel that X-ray is important in your practice, but I recently had a guy that came in with low back pain, which looked like the typical bread and butter chiropractic case. And I did an X-ray on him. We found a very suspect looking lesion in his lower back. I sent him out for an MRI, and he had stage 4 Mets from his prostate gland that if I would have adjusted that, possibly could have caused paralysis. So I'm not trying to put fear in people, but if you're not seeing the integrity of the osseous structures that you're adjusting, and whether and again, this doesn't happen, but I had another patient come in yesterday with the same exact syndrome, and you can see it on the film, so X-ray to me is like one of those things. It's like when you're going to work on a car, you want to open the hood and see what's going on. So I'm giving a plug to anybody that doesn't have digital X-ray yet. And if you're still doing plain films, which is like so toxic, and I don't even understand how somebody can even do that. So best investment I ever made in my practice was digital X-ray. So buy your products from their sponsor.
Imaging Services.
Yeah. So,
and honestly, Billy, it's like going to the dentist and saying, "Hey, man, just go to work. I don't need to know what you're seeing, or you don't need to know what you're seeing, but just go to work." I'd be happy if you just like.
And to be honest with you, patients expect it. Sometimes they come to me and go, "Man, the chiropractor didn't even take X-rays," and I go, "Okay, well, we're going to handle that." So,
well, we love and appreciate you,
guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for being our guest again.
I love and appreciate you guys. God bless you guys.
All right.
Thanks for brother. Watching.
We'll see you.
All right.
Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.